WP, the deal was struck. When the time comes, I will return to claim your firstborn. Years passed. The debt was all but forgotten and the entity reappeared. The debtor just said, yeah, about that. I never actually planned on having any kids in first place, so I don't have any. Time to deliver . Declan felt fulfilled after 110 long years. He'd led a relatively blessed life, all things considered. It was mostly thanks in part to an infernal deal where he'd come out ahead. He didn't think to ask for immortality at the time, but he had no complaints. He was old, wrinkled, and ready. He even managed to get past the loneliness that plagued him early on. He was fit, rich, and determined to avoid the slightest chance of having a child, so he didn't date and made very few friends. He made up for the lack of companionship with his wealth and other entertainments. Eventually, that got boring too, and he devoted his twilight years to anonymous philanthropy. He lived the best life he possibly could with no regrets and one major point of pride. He'd outwitted a higher power. He was content until one evening there came a knock on the door. Even at his age, Declan was sound enough to live alone thanks to his supernatural gifts. He opened the door to a pale young woman with black hair and bright orange eyes. "Yes?" he asked. She didn't seem to be selling anything as far as he could tell. "Hi, Declan," she smiled. "My name's Ophelia, and I'm here on behalf of King Solarian." The name almost made him shut the door in a panic. Why was she there after all this time? He didn't have any children. Fortunately, he managed to keep his cool and leaned on the door. He didn't have anything to worry about without kids. "What can I do for you?" he asked with a nod to indicate he understood who she represented. "Well," she giggled with a hint of nerves. "We've noticed a distinct lack of children being produced," she said. "I came to find out why." "Yeah," Declan chuckled. In a way, he was happy for a chance to rub it in their faces. Up until that moment, he was starting to wonder if they'd forgotten about him altogether. It wasn't as strong as a win if they didn't actually care. "About that, I never actually planned on having any kids in the first place, so I don't have any," he said. His grin grew even wider when a deeply concerned expression took over Ophelia's face. "No," she shook her head. "Surely you're just trying to downplay the loneliness you've had for so long. It's gotta be an innocent oversight, right? Maybe because you're ugly, you weren't actively trying to deceive Solarian, right?" she asked and nodded at him with encouragement. But this was a moment he couldn't pass up. He won, and it was important that Solarian knew how. "Of course I was." Declan laughed as loud and obnoxiously as his body could handle. "Like fairies don't all do the same thing," he added as his laughter settled down. "They don't." Ophelia shook her head, now with a more somber expression. "At least King Solarian isn't like that, and it's unfortunate for you that he is true to his word." Huh, Declan blinked and something changed. Except he couldn't tell if it changed before he blinked or after. He felt heavier, slower somehow. Then, or was all clear as he checked his hands and arms. He was young again and still at the door. It was different, and he was back in the same home he lived in when he first made the deal. His supernatural health was gone, and he felt noticeably worse despite being almost 9 decades younger. "What's going on?" he asked. He was shaken from surprise more than fear. If she was taking it all back, that was fine. He wouldn't mind a second chance, and he'd learned a lot. "You intentionally attempted to deceive King Solarian," she said. "He's decided to take it personally." "What, you can't punish me for not having children?" She'd kept a stern face, but that comment made her crack a smile. "We don't need a reason. However, he also very much can punish you for it. It's not that you didn't have children, it's that you took the deal with the knowledge that you never planned to pay. It is tantamount to theft." Fine, Declan just wanted it to be over with and her gone. He could rebuild an even better life. "I guess I'm back to the beginning and the deal's off," he added as he started to close the door. "Thanks for nothing, I guess," he chuckled. *********. Thank you for reading. I'm responding to prompts every day. This is story 2717 in a row. Story 175 in year 8. This story is part of an ongoing saga that takes place in my universe.